I love the intersection. I have a couple special creative projects right now. Connected in the Deep is about the science of mystical experience. And I've just started doing something called MinneapolisGreen.com, which is about the sustainable identity here in Minneapolis. And it's interesting to me that this is a perfect place, an intersection for those two particular, somewhat disparate topics, but they have a really natural home here at Lake Harriet Spiritual Community. This truly is a vortex under the vaulted dome, and I appreciate being here. So your topic this month has been about revealing the real you, and we talk about what is the true me. And I will tell you first a few stories about my own life. I'm actually a storyteller, I think, from birth. I was writing really awful poetry at a very young age. I wrote a lot of rhyming verses every year for the Catholic elementary school talent show. My friend Mary might remember some of those. I went on to create a neighborhood newspaper. I was probably about 11. I have no idea what there was to write about, but I do vaguely recall collecting 25-cent subscriptions from the neighbors. I wrote a play around 6th, 7th grade, The Adventures of Marco Polo. And it was the late movie after the Johnny Carson show that I scripted. I made the ragtag neighborhood boys in my neighborhoods be in the audience and be part of this. I also wrote a song that Johnny Carson's special guest Mac Davis sang. so those were my earliest memories. But middle school, my mother went back to college, and we were studying the Holocaust in school. And she introduced me to her humanities professor, and he was a Holocaust survivor. I was probably around 7th, 8th grade, and he told me the very real experiences that he had in a concentration camp. And I was hooked then on the power of storytelling to have an impact. Around that same time, we were also learning in school about the evils of smoking. And I wrote my father, who was a longtime smoker, I wrote him a very impassioned letter about the evils of smoking and why I wanted him to quit so that he would be around for me and my brother. And he quit cold turkey. So, talk about the influence of words. I definitely realized that there was a lot of power in both influence and inspiration around words. I got my grandmother's hand-me-down Smith Corona typewriter when I was about 13 as a Christmas gift, and I burst into tears. This was so cool, a typewriter. I went on by 16. I was working at the community newspaper. I eventually started a school newspaper in Prior Lake with my friend Troy. I went on to college newspaper editing. And then a whole series of things, some radio. I worked at TPT with a Jim Klobuchar TV show, did PR communications for the Minnesota North Stars, a whole variety of things. And eventually, about the age of 21, I decided I was going to embark on a life in magazine publishing. And for that, I needed to move to New York City. So I had never been there. I went to visit for a week. I stayed with my friend Mindy, who was an actress there at the time. And I sat across, I was a very weird 21-year-old. I sat across from the Time Inc. building, and I chanted, "I will work there someday. I will work there someday." And I did work many different jobs at Time Inc. over my 18-year career in New York. Yes, writing is where I really found my identity. It is the real me.